It was several years into my self-publishing journey before I realized I had made a huge mistake all of these years, even though I didn't completely regret the process itself. And that's the reason why today we are going to discuss, here's what I'd do if I had to start over. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. It was the year 2015, and I was starting on my very first book. The thing was I wasn't really a writer. I hadn't done that much writing. I did for school, and I wrote a lot of emails, but I don't know if that really counts. In addition, I had only become a brand new reader as well, only a few years prior to that. Before that, I had read almost no books my entire life, just winging it in English classes and things like that without actually reading. But suddenly, something about reading became very exciting to me. I wanted to get my book onto the market, but first I had to figure out what should I write about. And so I went through a number of things, things that hobbies I've had throughout the years, my day job, a lot of different subjects for which I considered would be a possibility. And the thing is that I had never even thought about the idea of putting a book on the market, except for my brother actually had thrown one on the market. Now, it was not selling a lot of copies, but the idea that it doesn't take that much work. At the same time, the Kindle revolution was kicking off, and there were a lot of free Kindle books on how to self-publish. Most of this stuff was complete garbage, but I started reading through it, and I got the Kindle bug in me, which got me really excited with this idea that maybe I could throw a book on the market, and it might even sell a copy or two. The thing is that if I didn't manage to get this going, what was at stake was that I would never get my ideas out into the world. I had a number of ideas. I'm a person who enjoys looking at how do we make things better? How do we life hack? These sorts of things. And I had a whole series of ideas I have not heard other people express, and I wanted to get these ideas onto the market. Maybe you're a little bit like that, whether you have a story that you want to share with the world, or whether you have a hobby or an interest or your profession, and you have some ideas that would be useful to other people that you'd like to get out into the world, and self-publishing is an excellent way of doing that. The problem is I had quite a bit of doubt upon whether I wasn't really a writer. I mean, I had done emails and I had written, essays for classes and things like that, but my grammar was terrible, and I really wasn't even a reader until just a few years prior. So the first obstacle I faced was I was trying to figure out what I should write on, and I decided to do goal achievement because I figured this is a subject I know a bit about. I've taken lots of classes. I've tried a lot of different things. I had a number of goals, and I achieved the goals that I was trying to achieve at the time, and this was a new goal, which was the goal of getting a book on how to achieve your goal on the market using the very same techniques. So I went all the way through this particular process. I was writing 1,000 words a day, and then we came to the cover, and that was a pain, and then we came to the formatting, and that was a really big difficulty, and all of these things. And ultimately, I got the book on the market, but then it was sort of crickets. It was not selling very many copies. So I came up with another clever idea. Let's do a book on habits. I'd seen some other publishers do books on habits and do quite well. So I put this book on the market, and it did better than my first book. Also, I had the experience behind me telling me what exactly readers were expecting and how maybe to get this book to sell a little bit better. I was also working with branding at this time. Then the thing is that after doing a number of other books, my sleep book was actually my most successful book, hitting the bestsellers list on Amazon for months at a time. It was unbelievable. But you see, the pattern here was that my books were on sleep and habits and goal achievement. It was all over the place, even though I was trying to put it under this Powerless brand, and it was getting some traction. Even when I ran ads against it and things like that, I was able to get them to sell. But I then, years later, discovered a huge mistake that I made. I had started reading through business books regularly, maybe 1 to 2 business books a month on marketing and sales and production and all of the things that are necessary to understand the ins and outs of your self-publishing business. I wanted to know everything. There wasn't anything that I didn't want to know. And that was when I made this huge discovery. You need to choose one audience. I was choosing audiences all over the place. But what was I to do? I had already chosen so many audiences. And the thing is that the message that was coming through these podcasts, YouTube videos I was watching, and books that I was reading was you should choose something you love. something for which you can get excited about and go year after year on this very same subject, something you're not going to get bored with, not some fad or something short-lived, but something that you yourself are passionate about. Very important. That was the first point. The second thing is that when you're choosing to write on something, choose a profitable market or niche or genre, subgenre, this sort of a thing. In other words, choose something where there are a lot of readers. They want to read these books, but guess what? There's just not that many of those books on this topic. This was a very powerful. In fact, I discovered then the whole world of keywords, which I had no idea about. I didn't even understand. What do you mean keyword? I just have a title. What do you mean by a keyword? And that was when I was introduced to this powerful concept that I would put a book on the market. It would be making $1,000 a month by choosing an exact keyword that people were searching on. And there was a lot of sales on those books that were coming through Amazon. And then at the same time, we saw not only those sales, but very few books in those markets, making it a profitable keyword or profitable sub-niche on Amazon. Very, very powerful. And the funny part, just on a side note, it's that all of the books that I'd put onto the market, they continue to sell, driving ads against them, using content marketing, just continuing to pump, just sale after sale. These books continued to work because they were in the right markets. So if you don't listen to anything else I'm saying, this was the most important lesson for me. It was that you need to be in the correct market. Then comes the next one, competitor analysis. When we're jumping into a profitable market, we need to see what our competitors are doing, the absolute winners, the top players in that market. We're not jumping into a market unless we have people who are making a killing in this market within that particular type of book. And even if you have a book on your mind, we can move it and adjust it so that it fits within one of these profitable niches. This is not difficult. So this is another aspect you're definitely going to want to do, but we do not ignore what it is that the best sellers, the top players in our particular sub-niche are doing. And we're going to make sure that we're not doing that much different than them. So based upon the length of their books, based upon the covers on their books, based upon some of the title aspects of their books, we're going to be looking at all of these aspects, something I completely failed to do, these huge mistakes. Not only was I not targeting one audience, I wasn't even paying attention to my competitors. I didn't even know if it was a profitable market. And the final thing is, it's content creation. It's not about one and done. We're not talking about putting one book onto the market and then you're finished with this particular thing. No, after you put one book on the market, we start running ads against it and content marketing, and we're writing our second book. So we're continuing to pump out books on this exact market. We're targeting the market. We're taking a slant, which is a position on that market that's slightly different than what everybody else is doing. And then we're going to build our name around that specific market. And this is a very powerful concept. But remember, if you don't love the topic, like cryptocurrency or something, if you were doing it on that, or maybe you don't like children's books, but you're doing it because you think it's profitable, you're never going to last the years it's going to take to really build out the brand. There are so many coaching clients I have who come to me and say, I don't understand. I knew my book was going to sell thousands of copies, but now I look at it and it's not making the sales. What is the problem? And my point is, you're missing one of these 4 areas here, just like I did too. I missed the exact same thing. And this is one of the reasons why these business books were so helpful in helping me to clarify my message, because if you confuse, you lose, like the marketing made simple people say. So finally, I had to decide, which market do I wish to target? Which one market? Is it habits? Is it goal achievement? I had gone through a whole series of things. I had worked on using this keyword targeting just to see if it would even work for, I don't know how many books, 150 books on the market, over 200 total on Amazon, including my own books and books that I paid others to write for me, testing out these theories, going through the cycle, using the money that's coming in to hire a team that could help me put these books together even faster. So this combination, this rhythm of getting it to go around, and I discovered something miraculous here. It was that my subject that I was excited about, the profitable niche that I was interested in, and the thing I could write about for forever and talk about forever was self-publishing. And so that's the reason why I'm even doing it today. It was because I came across this. I never would have expected in the beginning. I mean, what did I know about self-publishing? But as you start to get the hang of it, it becomes so exciting. And I realize now I could go for years on this particular subject. And you personally also probably have a subject, it could be a fiction or a nonfiction subject, that's near and dear to you that you also could use years writing about, as opposed to hopping from book to book. And so the thing is that these business books, they pointed out that you should just stick with the same market. Give yourself a decade of it. Go 10 years on this one topic, just putting in time every single day, investing in yourself, listening to books, podcasts and books like YouTube videos like this, or if you're reading this on a blog or podcast or email, then you know that. But taking in input from people who are excited and who are trying to help you achieve your goals. And the thing is, since that point, I've never looked back. I have had up days and down days. I stay in communities. I communicate with many of you on YouTube and other locations in order to stay motivated, in order to keep on trying to help others to achieve the same goals that I had. The thing is, though, do you need help clarifying your message? Do you need to figure out which of these things you're breaking and help to do the analysis on it? Well, check out below in the description and you will see I offer an absolutely free discovery session to help you achieve your goals. So just check it out. It's free. It's very casual, nothing to worry about. And we will take a look at your book and the market you're in, and we can see what concrete steps you can take in order to move it in the correct direction. If you haven't written a book, we can look at which markets may be profitable for you to target to make sure that your book is as successful as possible. So just go ahead and click below check in the description and click on the link. Thanks.